Okay, everybody. This is my ethnolinguistic profile of my family. My name is Steven, and I'm going to be taking you on a little journey of my family. So, first is my dad. It's going to be this guy over here on the right. He was actually born in Germany because my grandfather was in the Air Force. So, he traveled a lot as a kid. He picked up on a couple of languages. He mainly lived in Turkey, Japan, Germany, and France. He would pick up like sayings. He would, watch cartoons and stuff in those languages, but he never really fully learned any of those languages. He really only speaks English, and still to this day, really only speaks English. He ended up settling down in Florida at UCF, where he met my mom. They actually both worked at Disney World during the time in college together. So they met there. It's pretty cool. I like that story on how they met. And so that moves on into my mom here on the left. My mom was born in Mexico, and she only came to the United States when she was less than a year old. She came with my grandma and my grandpa. Uh, Once they got there, they settled in Pleasanton, Texas, which is about an hour outside of San Antonio. She says that she only knew Spanish up until the fourth grade. She said that that was the hardest grade that she's ever been in school because they started making her learn English like all of a sudden, like a switch. And she said it was very difficult to go from purely speaking Spanish to almost purely speaking English at school. At home, she still really only spoke Spanish because my grandma and my grandpa only spoke Spanish. So at home, it was mainly Spanish, but at school, it was all primarily English. So she was kind of torn in between those two languages. And so she ended up going to Florida as part of a summer internship. She went to North Texas University, and she ended up meeting my dad over there in a summer internship working for Disney. And yeah, the two of them met and created a family with me. That's me right there. Those are my two little dogs, Winston and Chigo. I love them very much. Growing up, I remember speaking a little bit of Spanish. It was mostly English though. My mom would say phrases to me in Spanish, like come take out the trash and all that stuff, but it was never really full conversation Spanish. I did take Spanish in high school and college, which furthered my understanding of the language, but I'm still not completely fluent. I can read and speak Spanish a little bit, but it's kind of hard for me to understand when it's at like a full conversation pace. And mainly today, I speak English, typically at school, work, and at home, even I'll speak English, but except to my mom. Sometimes, we'll speak a little bit of Spanish to each other. And that takes me to where I live now, which is San Antonio. I grew up completely in San Antonio. I actually lived in Florida for, the first 5 years of my life, but everything I remember has been here in San Antonio. So I've been exposed to Spanish from a very early age. I really like this area because it's such a blend of Spanish and English. Even though I'm not fluent, I do know phrases. I can read a little bit and speak a little bit of Spanish. And I would say that living here has brought me closer to Spanish than anywhere else in the USA. I really feel like this town is one of a kind, especially when it comes to the linguistic aspect. There's so much Spanish and English, both that are very present in this town, and it makes me love it even more. So that's pretty much a small rundown of my life and my family and where I'm at in my ethnolinguistic profile. So thank you guys very much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys later.